Thanks everyone for joining. We're really excited today to talk about our advanced 3D floor planner. And so just a few little housekeeping tips before we get started. We will be sending out this recording afterwards, so don't feel like you need to take detailed notes on everything. We also have the chat panel you're using right now and a Q&A tab. So if you have specific questions, you can add them either into the chat or in the Q&A, and we'll do our best to answer them. Whatever we don't answer during the webinar, we can follow up with you afterwards as well. And again, since this is more of an advanced deep dive, the assumption hopefully is that most of you have used our 3D floor planner before. Sean will cover a few of the basics, but then he'll get into a lot more of the advanced tips and tricks. So I can share some other resources in the chat that you can access if you're not quite as familiar with the 3D floor planner. So we did do a basic webinar back in March. I can share a link to that. And then we also have a very detailed help center with lots of video resources and articles that you can use just to help you get up to speed. So we can start with some introductions. My name is Katie and I'm on the product marketing team. So I work really closely with our customers to understand how you're using different features in House Pro and get your feedback on them, and then translate that feedback to our product teams, our engineers, to make sure that we're really developing the right features to meet your needs. And then also work on launching a lot of our newer features that we're bringing to market and creating more of these webinars. So hopefully some of you have listened or joined our prior webinars. We're really trying to do more to make sure that you understand all the features, how to use them, and then are also pretty on top of the new features that we're releasing. Sean, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Katie. Hello, everybody. My name is Sean Coriel. I lead the product development for the House Pro 3D floor planner. So what that means is I work with Katie and talk with our customers about what needs they have, and then work directly with our engineering and design teams to work on improving the software for everybody. That's the main reason that we love to chat with our customers. And I know probably some of you have reached out to us in the past. So thank you as always for giving us that feedback as we always work to improve the software.
Great. So we'll just touch on a few benefits, why you should use a 3D floor plan, why you should use it within House, and then we'll get into the demo. So the 3D floor planner is one of, if not our most popular tool. It's a really great way to get conceptual and schematic designs in front of your clients with that high quality 2D or 3D visuals. So you can get to a shareable design much faster in House Pro than you might in more of a traditional desktop CAD software. A lot of our pros are using a 3D floor plan before they even close the sale as a way to help leads or prospects understand your vision and then better see the before and the after scenario. So some of our clients will give a 3D walkthrough or a 3D plan to their leads before they even do the proposal or the estimate and sign the contract in order to close that sale faster and also save some time later on. And then, of course, it's a great way to help your clients visualize and just align on your design vision. So we know that homeowners often have some trouble visualizing that end state of their project. So having 3D floor plans along the way is really helpful to also help you speed up the decision making and then prevent any potential misunderstandings down the road. So we've been adding a lot of additional features and upgrades to our 3D floor planner. So we're excited to have you all here, and Sean will walk through a lot of those. So with that, Sean, I will turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Katie. Give me 1 second to share my screen. Okay, I see that coming through. So as Katie said, we're going to target this towards a more advanced customization within the 3D floor planner. But I wanted to just start by covering some of the bases with walls. So I'll work first on this very simple floor plan to cover that, and then I'll go to a more detailed floor plan where we can look at different features in different areas within the software that can be useful for. customizing, refining your designs. All right, so I'm gonna jump in here with probably the most fundamental part of the software and the 3D design tool, which is drawing walls and getting them to be the precise measurement that you need them to be. So I'm sure everybody's familiar with the draw wall tool, which is right here. It looks like a little pencil, and you click that, and this will guide you to snap to an existing wall. And those red lines help you align your drawing. One kind of tip to note is that if you're using a mouse, you can right click, you can hold down that right click, and it will kind of pan the canvas while you're drawing. So that can sometimes be useful depending on the length or size of the wall that you're drawing. So here we're just dragging the wall, and you can see the length coming through. So one way to do it is to go, okay, you're going to draw like about a 11.5-inch wall. Now I know I didn't get that precise, but I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. So you see here the red guidelines. Now when I select that wall, you'll see her two measurement bubbles. The reason there's two is because the wall has thickness. So the dimension of the wall on this side will be different from the dimension of the wall on the other side. So let's say I wanted to make that 11 foot 2 inches. I can type that in here. And then now we give you the ability to kind of push the wall in a particular direction. So in this case, if I want to push it to the right, I would click this right arrow. If I want to split the difference on the two endpoints, I can click this middle one. Or if I want to push the wall to the left, I would click this left arrow. So you see there that I click that arrow, and then this measurement is 11 foot 2. Similarly here, you can do the same thing. Like if you want to make this whole width expand, you can modify the length of this and say 11 foot 6. And if I want to push it down, that is then becomes 11.6. We are working on refining some of these specifics with the points. So you'll see that, I didn't mean to delete that. You'll see that happening as you adjust the points. So you can also like drag to reposition a wall. And you can also, if you want to draw from like a center line, you can draw and then type in exactly with your keypad 10 feet, and that'll draw the length from the center line and get you to where you want to go. And then again, you can use the same tool to refine that as needed. One more piece, which is pertaining to, let me stay on this screen for a second. You see here in the wall properties, we have the wall thickness. A couple months ago, we updated and improved this so that if you change that wall thickness, any walls that you draw from that point forward will be that new thickness. So if I change this now to 6 inches and then start drawing walls, all these walls will be 6 inches. Let me just make sure I selected that before I started. I don't think I did. Sorry. I think I had a wall selected. Okay, so default wall thickness will be 6 inches. And now we've got the 6-inch wall. What just happened before was that I had a wall selected. So that's also something that's possible. If you have a wall selected, you can go in and change that wall thickness. And as always, you can select multiple by holding down the Shift key. So if you want to change all of these to 6 inches, you can go in and select them all and then modify that here. One more important aspect is the wall height. So that will work similar to the wall thickness. If you want to start drawing like a taller wall, like let's say a 12-foot wall, you can put that in. Now the next wall that you draw will be a 12-foot tall wall, and it's still at the 6-inch mark. So it's quite a thick wall. And one more piece of this that I want to show is if you see here, I already created this wall that's 4 feet. So by default, the walls that you draw will be full height walls. If you want to create like a pony wall or a knee wall, you can go in and select the wall and then change that to a partial height wall and then assign it the height that you want that wall to be. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that I covered that. That's the essentials of wall drawing to get those precise inputs that you need. From there, I'm gonna move on to some the other floor plan, which will show a more finished design, if you will. And I'm gonna start by looking at ceilings. So here you can see we've got a pretty detailed floor plan, and one of the fundamental touches that we need to add will be on the ceilings. So within this structures panel here, we have the ceilings button. Once you click in there, the ceilings will be selectable for each room. So here in the entry, if I select the entry, you can see that we've got a shed ceiling there. If I select this closet here, we've got a flat ceiling. So right now we have these 3 different ceiling types, and you can modify, for example, if this has a shed ceiling, you can modify both the lower height, the base height of the ceiling, as well as the peak height of the ceiling. So if the peak of this shed is at 14 feet, we can enter that in here. And you can also rotate the direction of that slope using this button right here, rotate peak. So that will change the direction that ceiling is sloping. We do plan in the future to support more ceiling types. We've heard from customers about different like beam ceilings and more customization with different sides of a room having different ceiling heights. So that is on our radar. One more thing to point out here is that you can change the ceiling surface finish. And you can always look at your ceilings in dollhouse mode. Yeah, I made it like a very tall ceiling here. There's some more, this is actually a more reasonable design with the sloped ceiling, this shed ceiling, and this wall here.
Sean, just one question. Does a shed ceiling refer to vaulted ceiling?
So it depends. We also have a cathedral ceiling, so sometimes people use those words differently, but the cathedral will be what we would show as a peaked ceiling. Let me jump into that other simple floor plan just to show that, so I don't make things too crazy. So back here in ceilings, this cathedral will have the peak more like it's basically 2 sheds put together, right? So that could sometimes be called a vaulted ceiling depending on how people use the terminology. So I can change that here. I can make the peak height much taller or a more reasonable slope for this kind of proportioned room. Okay, I'm going to jump back to this floor plan. Let me go back to ceilings just to make sure that we've covered that. While you're in the ceiling view, so you see here that I think this floor plan is assigned. Most of the ceilings have been assigned, but you can also select two different rooms holding shift and then assign the ceiling type if you want to do it all in one go, like if everything's a flat ceiling or something like that. You can do it that way, and then you can assign the pink color, for example, all in one click. Shift select is something that we support through a lot of different features. So anytime you have to select multiple things and you want to, they're all the same thing, and you want to do the same operation on them, it's often pretty useful to use that shift select.
Sean, we have a few questions on ceilings.
Yeah, let me see if I can check the chat.
Let's see. Can the peak be made somewhere besides the center?
Yes, we will be working on that. Right now, the peak is defaulted to the center, but we do know that people need that customizability.
Okay, great. And does our room scanning tool scan the ceilings accurately as well?
The room scanning tool will get the wall heights for flat ceilings best. We are looking into ways to get more complex ceilings within the room scan, but as of now, it's genuinely supporting like flat ceilings. It will be able to usually get the wall heights there. There are limits on the hardware, like if you've really got a fantastically high ceiling, particularly for certainly for those laser-based scans which are the iPhone Pros support. The laser can only go so far. So depending on if you're working on a massively tall room, it may not get there. Yes, coffers and trays are things on our agenda as well. Arch ceilings we don't support.
Okay. You may cover this when you get to the multi-floor, but Andre was asking if you can create a ceiling and then a finished attic space above it.
So we don't. The ceilings right now are really for interior, showing the interior design. So we wouldn't have a way to represent that attic space in if you wanted to represent that in 3 dimensions. I think that could be something that we think about in the future.
Okay, great. Well, let's keep going and then we'll get back to questions.
Okay, I'm gonna jump back because I do want, this is something that we're working on now, so it's not available. You won't see it in your 3D software yet, but I do want to just call this out that this tool is coming soon. This is to split a room. So there's a lot of cases where you would have like different, like a multi-purpose room, like a living room and a kitchen all in one open space. The kitchen may have tile, the living room may have wood flooring, and previously that's been something like you can draw a wall and make the wall really thin and low to split the room. But we have been working on this tool, so it's coming soon. You'll see it right here. I'm highlighting it here so that when it does come, everybody can see it and grab it and use it. I can try to demo this really quickly. Let me just, so what happens is you click on that room split, and then you select the room, and then from there you'll be able to draw the exact area that you want to split. So look for that coming soon. Once it's out, we'll have some content to let you know that it's there and how to use it. Okay. Let me keep going. One of the big features that hopefully everybody's seen by now is adding additional floors into an existing floor plan. So in this case here, I have this main floor. And I've also set up a second floor that I'll show now. So here you can see the second floor of this floor plan. It will work similarly in Dollhouse. You can look at it and see all the spaces that are there. It's again contained in this one floor plan. So the nice thing about that is you can switch between ground floor, second floor, and I'll show you how that works. I'll create this again so that everybody can see, because there's additional flexibility within this this feature that I think could be useful in a more advanced setting. So one of the ways that you can use this, and it's pretty convenient, is if you've set up this main floor, and then let's say you want to do like a quick variation on this. Maybe you want to rearrange the living room furniture and just see what that looks like very quickly. You can use this feature to do that. So here you can go add floor, and we copy different parts of that floor into the new floor. So the simple way to do it would be if you want to create like a second floor and some of the exterior walls you want to reuse, you can just copy that. So this would copy the walls onto that next floor. I'll show if you want to create like another version of this and just play with it quick and test out a layout. I'll call it layout version 2. You can basically check like all of these boxes, and it may take a second because it's a pretty large floor plan, but that will create, that will basically copy all of this geometry into this floor. And so let me just go ahead and modify this living room real quick. Again, I'm not going to be a professional designer in moving this stuff around, so don't judge the layout. I'm just going to show you this real quick. One little shortcut right there is if you're in like, it can be useful if you're in like the dollhouse view, and let's say you don't want this chair in this version. If you select it and just click your delete key on your keyboard, that will get rid of it. So I'll delete this here. Maybe this is like a much sparser living room. So then I can switch quickly between the two. And what's nice is that the camera will stay in the same spot, so you can kind of quickly judge, you know, if this is gonna, if you want to go in this direction or not. That can be useful. So in addition to, you know, creating different floors the usual way, I wanted to show how that can be used to work on different versions of things at the same time.
There was one question on how many floors you can create.
Right now we're limited to 6. So if you do have more than 6, you'll hit a limit there. Please, we're welcome to feedback on that as well. We would just want to make sure that everything, particularly on the mobile side, can load as fast as it needs to. So we are monitoring that. And then you can always delete the floor here if you don't need it anymore. Do be careful when you're deleting those.
Sean, there have been a lot of questions on stairs. Maybe this is a good point to address that if you are adding another floor.
Okay. Yes, I know one aspect of stairs is that people often want to show. Let me go to this second floor. So you'll see here in the floor plan, this stair is like flat. So sometimes people want to show the stair going down. I know also people want to be able to have that stair like poke through the floor to actually show the floor cut out within the stair. So that is something that we do plan to work on in the future. But one workaround that you could do if you don't want to show the stair going up in this case is you can just change the height of that stair to something quite small. Here it's like 12 inches, and that will kind of smush the stair so that it's not popping up. You can also change the length of it so that it's more compact if you're only showing a portion of that stair in this floor plan, because at some point here in the floor it may it's not taking up floor space. Let me see. Let me check the chat here.
Another question: is it better to start on if you're creating an upstairs space? Is it better to start on the second floor or start at like the bottom and then go up?
We've tried to accommodate either way. So perhaps so if it's more of a traditional single family house, then it would make sense to start with the main floor and then go up, because you can kind of duplicate from there, and typically the higher floors will often be smaller. Or if not, you'll at least have the main walls set up so that then you can go in and create the second floor or the third floor using that using that outline template, if you will. Additionally, you can create a basement, and you can also, like, if you want to see these in any kind of order, you can drag them around. And I don't think I showed this yet, but you can always rename them. So ideally, that can work in either direction, depending on what your needs are with the workflow. And I didn't go into this, but we do have some customization of the stair finishes for the railings and the treads and the risers. So that's available when you click on the stair here. We do get feedback about stairs, so we are aware of some of the things people are looking for functionality-wise there that may not be currently in the product. Please reach out and keep that feedback coming. I want to jump quickly while I have this shower here and just point out that we've been adding a bit of customization to showers, and I'm not going to spend that much time on it. I just want to make sure that everybody's aware. So if you go into the generic products, bath products here, we have added over the last couple of weeks quite a bit more shower customization. We've got the shower door, just an individual shower door, frameless door, just the doors themselves, and then a whole host of like shower components, round shower heads, rainfall shower heads, and pedestal, etc. So we've to cover a lot more bases here. We have a shower bench, different types of drains. Here you can see the linear drain. I've always wanted one of these in my shower. And then you can assign it different metal finishes. Hopefully everybody's seen the finishes that we've added. We did add these quite a while ago. A lot of different options here for finishes, particularly metal finishes or matte finishes. Again, this is another area where if you're seeing, I know these trends can change. So if you're seeing some finishes you're looking for, let us know. We do keep an eye on what's going on in the industry, but it's always helpful to hear from you all.
Sean, can you add a niche in the shower? We've gotten a few questions about that.
Niches, no, not currently. I know that a lot of people want niches. It is something that we've been looking into. So stay tuned on that one. But yeah, it's when I talk to customers or when I look at some of the things that are in contemporary design, it's hard to find a shower without a niche. So we do plan to work on that.
Yeah, and like Sean said, I know a lot of people are adding suggestions into the chat, but any features you want to see added or specific products, like that's really how Sean and his team develop all these additional products. So just keep adding that feedback.
All right, I'm gonna jump over to, I want to cover a couple of things in kitchens. And just so everybody knows, I think, when I'm sharing my screen and running this presentation, it's a little slower. So that's not the genuine experience in real life, but I see that it looks a little slower than in real life. Okay, let me cover, so I won't go into detail with the basics of kitchens. Just to point out kitchen products here, we have whole sets of different kitchen cabinets and then kitchen island base units and different customizations within that. So if you find your kitchen cabinet within there, you'll see this is the kind of typical information that you'll see here to customize the configurations, the different door styles, the finish. Again, when I mentioned that shift select earlier, shift select is really useful in the case with kitchens if you want to change all of these to a different paint color, for example. Shift select there, and then you can change that here. Or all of these shared properties can be accessed from shift select. The kitchen island, I do want to spend a little time just looking at the overhang. Sometimes people miss this customization. So we have the overall overhang here at 7/8 for the countertop. Additionally, we have the customization where you can extend one side of the kitchen countertop. So in this case, there's a front overhang, and that's 12 inches, and that's how this is created here. And then one piece that was in high demand that we added relatively recently is this edge slab. If you want to create that waterfall island look, this product is available. You can customize the dimensions of it and then line it up to get that waterfall island look, and then it's available with all of the countertop materials. Let me just make sure that everybody knows where that is. So here's within islands, you'll see that piece there that you can add to create that waterfall island edge. And then here you can see the overhang. And again, so the overhang is on both those cabinets, so I shift select, and then like if I wanted to change it and make it bigger, that's 16, etc.
Awesome. There were a bunch of questions around customizing islands and adding them. So hopefully that covered for anyone who wasn't sure how to do it.
And then looking here at the backsplash, so we do have a backsplash that you can add, and then that's located here, the backsplash. So that's a product that you can add and then drag in and position it and size it whatever you need. So here you can control the exact dimensions of it, how high it is off the floor. And hopefully most people have seen the way that you can adjust these different products with the arrows, but if you wanted to only move it in the up and down just on the screen, you can do that just by selecting, like hovering over that arrow, selecting it. That's accessible from most products in the floor plan. Like if I just want to move this bench to the right and not in any other axis, I can just drag it to the right. And then here you can rotate it. And we're snapping those to typically on the 45s to make it easy to get it to the right spot. If you I don't know, for some reason wanted, this is probably not the best example of why you would do this, but if you had some reason to make this a very specific angle, you could type it in there. So if it was something like some non-even number, and that's accessible in the dollhouse. We heard from a lot of people to make the rotation easier. This has been in the product for a while, so hopefully people have seen it. Okay, yeah, so let me get back to the backsplash. And here you can assign it different tiles. I will put one note that, just so everybody knows that we're hearing you, we are working on expanding the materials and finishes overall for the 3D floor planner. So I know that that can be, sometimes people want to find materials or finishes that aren't available there. We're aware of that and we are working on it. Again, that's another area where if there's something specific you're looking for, let us know. We will put that on the list. How are we doing on time here? Let me try to go a little bit over to, try to move a little quicker and go over to outdoors. So here in the floor plan, you can see there's like an outdoor design here, a pool and patio. So that's all able to be created from this tool here, draw outdoor surface. It kind of looks like a tree. You click that and it basically will function the same as the draw wall tool. So the behavior of the tool should be familiar. And you click, and similar to the wall, you can drag or you can type in exactly how far you want that to go. And then you can use the red guidelines to put that in place. You can create like a irregular polygonal shape. The only rule with drawing a outdoor surface similar to a floor is it's got to be a closed shape to create that surface. So that means you can link it up to another surface there. Once it's done, now it's closed, and now you have the opportunity to put a material on it. We have different categories of materials that you can add for the outdoor surfaces, different decks, different pavements, ground cover stuff, and pavers. And those can be easily modified just by selecting. I didn't really want that red, but let's go with it. Here. Doesn't look like a floor plan that was going to have a red patio there. Let's see here. Also, you see that you can use the tool to create like a shape within the shape. So if you wanted to assign this shape to be a different material than the grass, that's how you do it. You can just start drawing in here. And assign that a different brick than this. You can drag that if you want to modify it, like maybe that's I don't know, a different brick patio. I think I dragged it too far. Running this presentation is creating a little bit of a delay, and it's making it a little hard to drag this thing. If you do get into trouble like that, you can usually undo and get yourself out of it. Okay. let me jump to, yeah, so all of these products that are in outdoors, you can either find in our source or in the generic products. We have quite a bit of generic stuff for outdoors. If you would just want kind of placeholder products, different kind of barbecues. Oh, we just added fences. I didn't show that here, but a couple of different fences are available if you need to create like a fence to rope something in. And as always, the source will have the realistic furniture for um, a lot of different outdoor products. Um, I'm not going to go into source. That wasn't one of the things that I was going to spend that much time on, but I do want to always point out that this filter button, depending on which category you're looking at, is always super useful, and it will get you to the right place quicker if you have a particular look or feel in mind. So here, like, as you click into these different categories, the filters will update depending on what that category is. So here's like, we can filter by frame material, um, or style or color. I doubt there's much yellow stuff, but we can see, oh, it's quite a bit. Okay. So that's always there, that's always available, and that will work in all of the source categories. So please look out for that filter button. It can save you a lot of time if you've got an idea for like a blue couch with a wood finish or something like that. Um, okay, so yeah, hopefully the outdoors people have explored that and seen it. Maybe last thing to call out here, for decking, you'll see different plank sizes, so you can always go in there and select if you want a wider plank or a thinner plank, and or like similar to flooring, you can rotate that uh, if you wanted to change the orientation. Okay, I want to cover just go back to the general floor plan and cover the room labels. So anytime you want to label a room, you can just simply select it, same as selecting to change the floor material. You see here, room label, living, dining. We have pre-configured drop downs, but you're always free to add whatever you want here in the text. If you want to describe a room, or that's somebody's bedroom, for example, to make the floor plan more personable, you can go ahead and do that. And it will also calculate the square footage. If you don't want to show the square footage, you can just turn it off with the settings. So that's, again, if you click on any room, you have the ability to create a room label or customize the room label to your needs. A couple of things that maybe we added that you may have missed or could be harder to see. If you want to save your floor plan as a PDF, we've made it pretty easy to do that. So you can kind of zoom into any area that you want. Like if you just wanted to capture this here, then you go under this drop down and save PDF to files. So this will automatically create the PDF of what you're seeing here and then save it to your files and folders in House Pro. I already have one, but I'll go ahead and do. And then from there, you can download that PDF, or you can store it in your House Pro, or you can go in
Did we lose
And you can
Sean?
use it as a, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Hello, you're back.
Oh, what happened?
I
Sound
think
went away?
you lost your connection for a minute. But now we see you and we hear you.
Okay. I checked my internet before this presentation. It's like 350 megabytes a second. So I really don't know why that would have happened.
That's okay.
Okay. Let me know if that happens again. Where did I lose it? Was it a whole minute?
Maybe just the last thing you were saying.
Okay. I was just showing that drop down here to save a PDF to file.
Got
So
it.
once you click that, is it sounds coming through?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Once you click that, it will save the PDF to your files and folders, and from there you can go into takeoffs and upload that PDF, for example, or you can download the PDF and store it on your desktop or send it in an email, whatever you want to do with it. The file's there, and then it will always be in your House Pro files and folders for this project. And then I jumped to commenting because I want to make sure people are aware of this functionality. Can be a good collaboration tool. So here, this little quote box with a plus sign is the access to the commenting functionality. So any floor plan that you have, you can add comments to it. I'll show you quickly what that looks like. Once you click that tool, you get into this commenting bubble, and you can select anything in the floor plan and add a comment to it. So in this case, I already added some comments here, and you can choose to add comments that will be viewable directly to your client or to your team. So this can be useful collaboration if you want to collaborate asynchronously on some design items. You can comment here. If you use the @ it'll pull your client. So here you see client LeBron James. You can tag them, and that will actually send them an email once you've enlisted them in the project, and say, you know, you just basically let them know you want them to check this out. They can check it out on their own time. Like I said, that will basically send them an email, and they'll be aware of the comment. And it looks like there's a little issue there with the comment. Hopefully that's not related to my earlier issue with the audio internet connection. But you can see here, so I sent my client a comment, they said, okay, that pinged them in the email, and then they jumped on, okay, looks great. You can also use that if you click on this team tab, you can tag somebody on your team who's attached to the project, and your client will not see that team comment. So we've got kind of two communication paths, client and team. Neither is able to see the other. I can show you quickly what that would look like for your client here. So this is the shared floor plan. And you can see different commenting bubbles. So here on this, if I click on this table, you will be able to see the comments in this table. So here, this is what the client would see on the comment side. And then they would open it up and they can respond here. I don't know, maybe the client's changing their mind, which they like to do. And so that can go back and forth, and I'll have to check into that. There may be an issue with the comment right now. So that's commenting. Again, there's both team and client versions of that, and you can click on any area of the 3D product and attach a comment to it. Okay, and then to get out of that, you just click out of that. I want to jump to cameras real quick because that's somewhat newer functionality that we've added. So with this camera tool, you have the ability to save any view of your floor plan that you want. So these are views that have already been saved in this floor plan. You can name them all, and then you can go back and forth in between them very easily. And of course, you can generate the photorealistic image of that view. So a couple of things to point out with the cameras. You can adjust, we have some settings here to adjust the field of view, for example. If you want to try to, this would be more like a traditional camera where you're adjusting the angle of the lens to take in more of the scene. And you can use the slider to adjust the camera height to make it more eye level. You can also just type in exactly what you want there. Anytime you want to create a new camera, so let me just show you how that's done. So from any view that you're in, you can go into the camera tool and then click that new camera button, and that will create this new camera, and then you can go in and rename it anything you want. And then adjust the settings here. Let's say I'm like adjusting the setting of this camera. I can then hover over that camera and update that setting. If you go into the walkthrough view, you can also create a camera. Another way to do it is just through this toolbar here, create new camera. And then, like I said, you can go back and forth pretty easily through there. And anytime you wanted to, like, you can either always create a new camera if you change the view, or if you are updating it, you can just hover over that one and update it, and then click the photorealistic render button. Just for time's sake, I can jump and show you the result, so that when you click the photorealistic button, it'll take a couple of minutes. You'll see the status in the bottom left here, and when it's done, it'll notify you, and that will automatically be stored in the project's files and photos. So here, I rendered this camera view of the bedroom, and you can see it here. And then from there, if you wanted to download it, it's just that right button right there with the down arrow. So those are always there, and they're always saved to your project. Yeah, go ahead, Katie.
I know we have a few questions. Was there anything else that you wanted to cover?
No, I know we're running short on time, so let me stop there and see what else we can get.
Okay, so let's see. So there were a few questions or some feedback on PDF. Just, it sounds like the scale when you do a PDF, like the images are too small. Is there any either workaround, or is that something that we have in the works to improve that PDF functionality?
If people are wanting to print to a certain scale, that's something that we do plan on working on in the future. You can always adjust how that looks in it, like if you want to just zoom in to show one part of the floor plan, you can always zoom in or you can zoom out. So that's currently the way to adjust what is going to be in that PDF.
Okay, great. A lot of questions still about whether you can import your own pictures of furniture or use clipped products in a 3D floor plan, which I know is feedback that we've heard before.
Yes.
We're looking at options. And then let's see. There was questions around the best way to show interior dimensions so that the client isn't maybe getting confused with the exterior dimensions.
So I can show, yeah, in the settings here, we have some dimension tools. Let me go back to the screen share. Is my audio, are people still having audio problem?
No, you're
Or
good.
is the audio not coming through? Okay. Let me, oh, I've still got this share. So within settings here, if you wanted to show, we have some capability. If you want to show like less dimensions, that's available as the default. If you want to show more dimensions, we have a couple of toggles. You can show like all the wall dimensions. So that will kind of automatically dimension all the walls in the interior. And you can also show, choose to show like the window and door dimensions. So it's a lot of information that's available. We are looking into ways to, when you like zoom in, to make the dimension text scale a little bit more so that it doesn't get too crowded, because you can see that happening in some places. That is, again, that's all available with these toggles here.
Great.
And sometimes, like for that, it could be nice to go back into that more technical drawing view just to reduce the amount of information that's on the screen. So that's why I toggled it.
Got it. A few people asked about crown molding for cabinets. Do we have that available?
Crown molding, no. That is something that we've also heard about. So yeah, please keep that feedback coming. We've been looking into different ways to accomplish that in the floor plan. So we do have some future work planned there.
Awesome. Great. So I know we're exactly at the hour. So thank you again for all this feedback. If we didn't have a chance to answer it or address it, Sean and I will go through and make sure it's incorporated on our side. And then also if there are specific questions, we can try and get back to you. So thanks again. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you all. Please keep the feedback coming. Thank you.